Holla ballers, what's going on? It's Preacher. I got a little something different for you. I'm gonna have a little bit of fun here today. Often I get the question, Preacher, what's better, this or this? What class should I play? I want a good melee, I want a good range, I want all this kind of good stuff. But when I answer that question, I don't answer it like many people actually play the game. I answer it from the perspective of, are you going to be like raiding on this character, right? That's how I always encourage people to look at characters that they play in WoW. Is this a character, not that you just have a bit of fun on, but is this a character, let's suppose, that you end up in a raid guild on and potentially going up to Mythic, and maybe this is a character that you're going to be playing for 12, 20 hours a week. Over and over again, and sometimes doing like the same encounter many times, in which case your love of the smaller things of the class can disappear quite quickly because you're doing them all the time, and the niggling issues of the class and the gameplay problems start to become much more pronounced. Now, the issue with that, of course, is not many people actually play the game that way. And that means that opens up a whole other door of what we can use the word casual if we want to, but it's been co-opted by so many people to mean so many different things. But players who aren't interested in raiding 3 times a week, right? I'm not interested in doing that. In fact, that's something I rarely do. What I am interested in is getting on with the game and doing more of the casual stuff, like maybe I'll jump into some BGs, maybe I'll jump into some random heroics, I'll do some world quests, I might do some emissaries, maybe I'm going to do some transmog, maybe what solo stuff, all that kind of stuff. Now, that question is very different, because you're not going to be spending many hours stood in front of 1 or 2 bosses per week just trying to figure out the best and coordinating and all that kind of stuff and timing cooldowns and all the stuff that I'm very much into. You're going to play it very differently. Now, when doing all the alts and stuff, what is actually happening there is while I'm still focused on my mage as my main and still looking as that as my raid class, what I'm essentially doing on all the other characters is playing at a casual level, right? That's what I'm actually doing. I'm actually playing them at a casual level. I jump in, I get the most efficient stuff done that I can, and then I jump back off it and I go do something else. And in doing so, what I found is that I've certainly started to favor certain classes over others when I look at my login screen and I go, what do I want to get stuff done on today? And just that thought process alone starts to lead you to knocking classes away. Like, I don't really want to do that one. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. I don't really want to do that one. I don't want to do that one. I definitely want to do this one, though, because that's fun. And that's where I believe, and it's very close to another class, actually, I believe the Demon Hunter is the best casual class, for whatever word you are take that for, in the game right now. And I've been thinking about this the last couple of days. I've been looking, why do I keep going back to my Demon Hunter? You might recall in the alpha, the Demon Hunter was something like, the quote I have of myself from alpha was, it is really hard not to love and have fun with this class. It's really hard. And of course, there are many people out there who don't, for whatever reason. But I could never main it. I could never main this character. And the reason I couldn't main it is I know there are niggling issues with it. And in fact, if you look at the Demon Hunter community at the moment, they're very angry about some of the changes that are being made. But they're not changes that realistically affect you in a lot of scenarios. From a raid scenario, sure, they have an effect, and it's something that's going to annoy you. Potentially, these things still could change. But potentially annoy you if you're going to be playing this class a hell of a lot. But if you're not doing that, those issues actually don't exist. And that gives a whole new twist and perspective on it. Now, I have to be full disclosure here. I do tend to lean towards melee in general. I tend to lean towards melee. I have much more fun with melee. And one thing I want to be clear about here is there is no class in the game that you can't do pretty much everything with. It's just a difference of how easy it is to do it and how much more convenient it is to do it and how much more fun, let's say it, how much more fun it is to do it. So I was torn between 2. I always go back to these 2, and it's not just because they're the top of my character select screen, is the DK and the Demon Hunter. I keep going back to these 2. Over the last week or so, I've certainly played both of those far more than anything else in my class list, including the Warrior, which I know some of you might find surprising, and the Windwalker. Both specs I really enjoy, but I've definitely leaned towards the Death Knight and the Demon Hunter, and I want to go through them with you now, and I certainly think the Demon Hunter is the victor in this. When I go do like something simple like World Quest on the Demon Hunter, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. The entire class is based around just wrecking face in really short bursts. Now, if you think about how World Quests and stuff get done, it's all short burst stuff, isn't it? It's all short burst stuff. You tend to do a load of shit, fly over, everything kind of resets. So the next time you land, you do a load of stuff. So what you end up doing is just consistently in the Demon Hunter, just completely dominating whenever you land to do something. Absolutely dominating. Not only that, the Demon Hunter and the DK both have the super convenient option of switching over to a tank spec to deal with literally any challenge that the game can pose at you. Even at an item level of about 880 to 890, which isn't particularly difficult to get these days, it surpasses that. We've got some rare bosses to kill? No worries, man. We've got some sensor acts to do? No worries. The class, specifically with the Demon Hunter, is so easy to play. It really is a very simple spec to play, and even if you're not trying to maximize everything, you'll still get great results out of it. Damage isn't the best, but that doesn't matter. That's not why you're there. You're not going to die. And that leads me into something else. So I started thinking about what else people do in the game that isn't like getting ready for raiding or maybe taking PvP seriously, right? And transmog is a very big part of that. So how do we transmog? Well, we go and do old raids and stuff. So what I decided to do was say, okay, well, the Demon Hunter and the DK are both based on healing stuff, right? That's how their tank specs work. So I jumped into some old raids, and I went down to Mythic Hellfire Citadel. Turns out, Hellfire Assault Mythic as a melee, not the easiest thing in the world. I'm not an experienced soloer, so I'm sure there is a way of doing that. Some people told me some range guys can do it relatively well, but I couldn't do it. I gave it a couple of goes and was like, fuck this noise. But I did rock down to the Blackrock Foundry, in which case I found the Demon Hunter to be super easy to get stuff done. Fun tidbit though, I did forget that Beastlord Darmak does them spears and you can't get out of it. So that was about a 3-second pull. That was good times. But doing so, I didn't have to alter my spec in very many ways. I didn't have to learn and go and do research. I was able to jump into this stuff and just get on with it and got some decent results out of it. I was more than happy with my performance there that I could play this one spec. I don't have to overgear it, which a lot of classes do in order to get on with things. I don't have to overgear it. And I can still get everything I want out of this without issue. And it goes again for Mythic Plus. Do I want to jump into Mythic Plus? It's great. And not only that, and I think this is the important thing on the back end of it, is if I do jump into a raid, even if it's LFR, if it's normal, heroic, and it's not something you're doing regularly, all the issues that do come up at the very top end, you don't really notice them because you're not doing it for long enough. And you still have this very, very extremely fun class that seems to cope with every aspect of Legion specifically in the most convenient, simplest, easy to pick up and play kind of way, all the time looking extremely cool. I know a lot of people will be taken aback because I haven't been a big fan of the Demon Hunter for a while. But what I found when it comes to playing from a more casual level is the Demon Hunter just feels leaps and bounds ahead. There's something to be said for just turning up into a group, landing, throwing down the fucking glaives, eye-beaming the shit out of the place, blade dancing it, and just seeing you shred face, and then having this monumentally stupid cooldown of Metamorphosis when things get a little bit tricky, where you just go blah, and just fucking monster the thing for ages. And doing so allows you to just survive and get on with things, and have a constant stream of healing to keep you up. So the whole purpose of this video really is just to say, if you're looking for something and that's how you want to play, and you look at me recommending classes and then you go, yeah, but Preacher, if I'm being totally fucking honest with you, mate, I don't really want to do a lot of raiding. That's not what I'm into. What I want is something that I can play nearly every aspect of the game with without issue and never run into struggles. I don't want to look for a tank. Cool. And I honestly think the simplicity of the Demon Hunter, the having the 2 specs which limits the amount of Legos you've got to look for, and you don't have to think about third specs or anything like that, I think this is my favourite. So if that is the kind of class or spec you're looking for, I would honestly recommend this. And I haven't recommended it in any other shape or form so far, but I truly give it the thumbs up. I think it's pretty cool. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Bye-bye.